Harihi Om Om Shamna Mitra Samvarunaha Shamna Bhavartaryama Shamna Indra Brihaspate Shamna Vishnururokramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vaya Tameva Prataksham Brahmashmi Tameva Prataksham Brahma Vadeswami Ritam Avadeswami Satyam Avadeswami Tannam Avatu Tadbhaktiyaram Avatu Avatumam Avotu Bhaktiyaram Om Shanti 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 Om Shri Gurubhya Namaha Om Shri Paramagurubhya Namaha Om Shri Paratparagurubhya Namaha Om Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vashadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrindaha Om Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Harihi Om. You'll get that one.
Okay.
So we'll do the Achman first. So you can take down your mask. So you'll do okay. With your left hand, take some water on your right hand. Okay. Wash in both hands. Okay. Then again, the left hand, take right hand. And using your lips over here, okay. Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Om Keshavaya Namaha.
Once more. Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Om Narayanaya Namaha.
Once more. Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Om Madhavaya Namaha.
Take some water and wash your hand. Om Govindaya Namaha.
Om Gundaya Namaha.
Take some water on your right hand and sprinkle on your head. Right hand. Sprinkle on your head and say Om Damodaraya Namaha.
Om Damodaraya Namaha.
Fold your hand. Om Tada Vishnu.
Om Tat Vishnu.
Paramam Padam.
Paramam Padam.
Shada Pashvanti.
Pashanti.
Shurayaha.
Surayaha.
Diviva.
Diviva.
Chakshuratatam.
Chakshuratakam.
Tad Viprashaha.
Viprashaha.
Viparanaba.
Paranaba.
Jagrivamsha.
Krivangsha.
Shamindhate.
Vindate.
Sri Vishnu.
Sri Vishnu.
Paramam Padam.
Paramam Padam.
Om Namah Shri Vishnu.
Om Namaste Vishnu.
Namah Shri Vishnu.
Namaste Vishnu.
Namah Shri Vishnu.
Namaste Vishnu.
Om Apavitra.
Om Apavitra.
Pavitrava.
Pavitra.
Sharavavastham.
Sarvastam.
Gato Viva.
Viva.
Jasmare.
Jasmare.
Pundari Kaksha.
Drikaksha.
Shavarya.
Bhaya.
Abhantaraha.
Yantara.
Shuchihi.
Shuchihi.
Om Namo Shuchihi.
Namo Suchi.
Namo Shuchihi.
Namo Suchi.
Namo Shuchihi.
Suchi. Brahma Samhita. We'll chant together, please. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam Chintamani Prakara Sadma Sukalpa Vriksha Laksha Vratesu Surabir Abhipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shata Sambrama Sevyamanam Govindamadi Purusham Damaham Bhajami Venum Konvantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham Barhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandarpakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrakada Sadvanamalya Bangshi Ratnangadam Pranaya Kedi Kalavilasam Shambam Tribangalalitam Niyata Prakasham Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashanti Panti Kalayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chenmaya Sat Ujvala Vigrahasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Advaitamachyutimanadimanantarupam Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha Vedeshu Durlabam Adurlabam Atma Bhaktao Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Pantastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragamyo Vayoratapi Manaso Muni Pungavanam Sopyasti Yad Prapada Chinya Vachincha Tatve Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Eko Yasaurachayatam Jagadanda Kotim Yat Shaktirasti Jagadanda Chayadantaha Andantarasta Paramanu Chayantarastam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yad Baba Baba Tadayomana Taiva Samprapya Rupa Mahimasha Nayana Bhushaha Suktairiyameva Nigama Pratataistavanti Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chenmaya Rasapati Bhavitabis Tabirya Eva Nijarukatayap Kalabihi Goloka Eva Navisatya Kilatma Bhoto Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Premanjana Charita Bhakti Vilochanena Santaksadaiva Hridayesha Vilokayanti Yam Shama Sundarama Chinchuganasarupam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ramadi Murtu Shukalani Amena Tishtan Nanavatar Makarod Bhuvaneshu Kinto Krishnaksmayam Samabhavak Paramak Pamanyo Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagadanda Koti Koti Shvasheshu Vasidadi Viduti Bin Brahmanishkalam Anantam Ashesha Bhotam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Maya Hiyasya Jagadanda Shatani Sute Trigunya Tadvishaya Veda Vitayamana Sattva-valambi Parasatvam Vishuddha Sattvam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Ananda Chinmaya Matigamanakso Yat Praninam Pariparam Smarutamupaitya Leela Yatenu Bhavanani Jagatya Jasram Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Golokanamni Nitadamni Tale Chatasya Devi Mahesha Haridama Suktesha Tesho Te Te Prabhava Nichayavi Hitashayena Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Tristestate Pralaya Sadhana Shaktareka Chayeva Yasya Bhuvanani Vibharti Durga Ichchanurupamapi Yasya Chatesta Tesa Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Kshiram Yatadati Vikara Vishesha Yogat Sanjayate Nihitatakprita Asti Hetoho Yakshambhutam Apitata Samupaiti Karyad Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Deepanachir Eva Hidasham Tanam Abhyupetya Deepayateva Vrita Hetu Samana Dharma Yastradrig Eva Hitya Vishnu Taya Vivati Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Karanarnava Jale Bhajati Sma Yoga Nidramananda Jagadanda Saroma Kupaha Adara Shaktim Avalamya Param Sumurtim Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yasyaika Nishvisita Kalamatavalamphya Jivanti Loma Vinaja Jagadandanataha Vishnur Mahansi Hayasya Kalabhishesho Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Basvanya Tanksma Sakaleshu Najeshu Tejaha Sviyam Kiyat Prakariyat Tadvitad Vadatra Brahmaya Isha Jagadanda Vidhana Karta Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Yat pala pallava yugam vididhaya kumbha dvandve pranama samanye saganadi raja vinhan virhantam anabasya jagatrayasya govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Agnir mahi gagudur amba marudishascha Kalastatatma manasita jagatayani Yasmad bhavanti vibhavanti vishanti yangcha Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Yachakshur isa savita sakala grahanam Raja samastra suramurtir sheshate jaha Yasyagya pramiti sambrita kana chakra Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Dharmo tapapa nichaya shrutayasta pangsi Brahmadi kita patagavadayascha jiva Yadat prakata prabhava Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Astvindra Gopamata Vendra Mahosva Karma Bandhanurupa Padabhajanam Atunoti Karma Nirda Kintu Cha Bhakti Bhajam Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajam Yam Krodha Kama Sahaja Pranayadi Viti Vatsalya Moha Guru Gaurava Sevya Bhavai Sanchintya tasya sadashim tanam aturete Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Priya kanta kanta parama purusha kalpa taravo Druma bhumischintamani ganamayi toyam amritam Kata ganam natyam ganamam api bangshi priyasaki Chidanandam jyoti param api tad asvadyam api cha Sayatrakshirad Bhishavati Sarabhibhyasya Sumahan Nimeshad Yakyova Vrajati Nahi Yatrapi Samaya Vaje Shweta Dvipam Tamaham Iha Golokam Ityam Vidantaste Shantashati Virala Charakati Paye Ishara Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. Purifying mantras to invoke auspicious atmosphere. These prayers are prayers composed by and sung by Lord Brahma at the mature stage of his becoming well acquainted with the ocean of truth, as Bhaktisiddhanta describes it, which was the fruit of his chanting of mantra. The chanting of mantra has the fruit of awakening the dormant original consciousness of the living entity. Our scripture, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and others are very clear. Nitya Siddha, Krishna Prema, Sadhya Kabunoi, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karaye Udoi. The Krishna Prema is there already. Not only bhakti is there, but in the not yet ripe stage, the dormant stage, Krishna Prema is there, waiting to be awakened. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kabano Shravanadi, beginning with Shravana. So the mantra chanting is a process, of course, of making sound, but most important is the hearing of the sound that's being made. And this is our bhakti process, resting largely on, of course, the chanting of the holy names of Krishna. I'm sure you noticed that the initial mantras are simply names of Vishnu, different forms of Vishnu Tattva. And our teaching from the Bhagavatam primarily is that Krishna is the source of all those avatars. So we're hearing the names of the avatars. We heard this in the seminar. One should see the names and the forms and the qualities and the pastimes of any of the avatars of Krishna as their expansions of Krishna. They're of and from Krishna. That's our Krishna Bhakti position. And how is that Krishna Bhakti position awakened? Well, it takes sound, but there's also a prerequisite that one has an inquisitive spirit, Brahma Jigyasu or Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. There's a night there, any of the lectures that I attended where Prabhupada was giving initiation talk, without fail he referred to two particular verses, so I'm going to mention them. One has this phrase, Jigyasu Shreya Uttama, that is, in the 11th canto Bhagavatam, the sages, the Navayogendras, are being asked questions by King Nimi, and one of those questions is this process of Diksha, and how does it work, who is qualified to receive, who is qualified to give. And the verse begins with a tasmat, so it means he's said some preliminary things. Tasmat is therefore. Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. Shreya is long-term benefit, and Shreya Uttama is ultimate long-term benefit. Jigyasu Shreya Uttama is one who has this inquisitive spirit to understand what their long-term ultimate benefit is, the goal of life. The goal of life. Life comes by nature's arrangement, by biological combination of male and female, and it goes on in all species of life. And it's understood the living entity is transmigrating through so many different species of life. Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasadi Bhai Bhakti Lata Bija. Some fortunate soul, after many, many births wandering, Brahmanda, Brahmite, Kona, from higher to lower and everything in between. One cannot say for sure which spots one has landed in, but so many. One lecture I heard Prabhupada say, we should assume that we passed through all the different species to come to this human form of life. Just assume it. And here we are, with the capacity to inquire, Jigyasu Shreya Uttama. For such a person that has such an inquisitive spirit, Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta. Such a person requires Prapadyeta, surrendering to the spiritual master. And the second half of the verse, that's the qualification of the aspirant, and then the qualification of the giver, the guru. Shabde Pare Cha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashamashram. So Shabde Pare, transcendental sound vibration they have received, and they have understood, and they are able to relieve others of their uncertainties or doubts. Nishnatam. And they're very focused. Brahmani, leaving all other considerations aside. Upasamashrayam. Upa samashrayam. Leaving all other considerations aside. Just the focus on the goal of life. Now, focus on the goal of life has variety. Some this, some that, some the other expressions of a life dedicated to the personality of Godhead, Vishnu, or Krishna, or any of the forms of the Lord. But dedication according to one's nature. and the gifts that Krishna has given, and one uses those gifts that Krishna has given in his service. So that's one reference. Tasmat Guru Prapadyeta Jigyasu Shreya Uttama Shabde Parecha Nishnatam Brahmani Upashramashram. It's a nice verse. And another verse is from the Mundaka Upanishad. Where Tadvigyanartam Sagurum Eva Abhigatshet Samatpani Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Again, it's describing the qualification of the guru and the qualification of the disciple. Tadvigyanartam. Vigyanartam. One who wants to know Tadvigyanartam Sa Gurum Eva Abhigatshet. I'm not a Sanskrit scholar, but I heard Prabhupada say it so many times. This Abhigatshet indicates it's imperative. So for such a person who wants to connect, wants to know, this is the preliminary, the Adau Shraddha qualification, such a person must be connected with a spiritual master. So, tad vigyanartam, tad is a pronoun indicating that person who wants to become connected with transcendental knowledge and transcendental realization. It's imperative to connect with the spiritual master and the qualifications of the disciple. Samatpani simply expresses holding wood in his hand, like Krishna did for Sandipani Muni with Sudama, went to the forest to gather firewood. Meaning, the implication is being ready for any menial service. Any menial service. It doesn't, menial can mean many things to many people, but any service at all. It's just simply the principle of service. It's a matter of training in principle that when service is given, whatever the nature and flavor and character of that service is, it's a happy yes. Samatpani. And Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam is the qualification of the spiritual master. Shrotriyam, they've heard, and their faith is fixed, nishtha. Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. They're fixed in transcendence, fixed in knowledge of transcendence. And one who is so fixed, they're happy to transmit. Especially to someone who is eager to receive. And in the mood of humble service, samatpani. So this is a simple description from Scripture of the process of awakening our dormant Krishna consciousness. Bhagyavan Jeev, the living entity, may become very fortunate to receive the seed of bhakti. Question. A or B? We don't have the seed and we have to receive it? Or B, we already have bhakti and receiving the seed is superfluous? It's neither one. Bhakti is within, and receiving the seed, the bhakti lata bija, Jiva Goswami describes this very nicely. It's there a propensity to serve and redirecting that propensity to serve towards the object, Krishna, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the Guru's function, or one who is carrying bhakti can direct that tendency for service towards the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's the Guru function. And then one who receives that mercy, Bhagya Ban, then their life can change. Change internally and externally. And then the process of initiation is to formalize that transformation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote a very nice short essay. I'm happy to circulate it if somebody reminds me. Pancha Sanskar, a tradition within Vaishnava life, is initiation marks 5 sanskars or impressions. And 1, vertical tilak, and kuntimala, which is something we're going to have to do shortly. Kuntimala for each of the initiates. Already done? Already done. Okay, great. Fantastic. Kuntimala. And, of course, a name. And traditionally, along with Brahmana Gayatri, or the initiation of the Gayatri mantras, receiving a deity from Guru. And tapa. Bhaktivinoda explains that in some traditions, a brand is placed on the shoulder, making a mark on the shoulder, making a mark of its tapa. This body belongs to Vishnu. He explains, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it gentle and simple. Our tapa is regret that we've wasted time unnecessarily and foolishly in material involvement, forgetful of Krishna, and regretting that waste of time, waste of valuable human life. And that's our tapa. We don't dwell there, but there are tapa. This is his explanation. So with initiation comes a name, and the name is meant to remind us of our eternal position as Krishna Das or Vishnu Das or Radha Dasi or Rukmini Dasi, or a name that reminds us of Krishna. When the body is born, the parents assign a name, and at the time of initiation, then the spiritual master assigns a name to help the initiates remember Krishna. That's the purpose. And all of the names that we chant in the course of our devotional life is for the same purpose: awakening our forgotten relationship with Krishna. Initiation marks a stage where those that know you well have examined your dedication to the bhakti process, and there's substantial period of time indicating that dedication and the activities of devotion, the desire to render service to Krishna and the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so it's a formal recognition of something that already exists. And that's what initiation is, the formal link with the cyclic succession. It's not that before initiation, let's put it positively, initiation in one sense begins when submission is firm. And when may not be initiated, but when submission is firm, then connection is there. And the connection then becomes formalized at the time of initiation. And it's an important step for those on the path of bhakti. When Prabhupada would explain the stages of bhakti, we know that the Adau, Shraddha, etc., Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, and so forth, invariably, I can't remember any written or spoken point where he's describing the 9 stages of bhakti. He places Bhajana Kriya, and the next, Bhajana Kriya means devotional activity. He includes accepting initiation. That's where it comes, in that sequence. It's not like, and then because after Bhajana Kriya comes Anartha Nivritti. It's not that we can't have anarthas eradicated prior to initiation, but it's a stage. And it's a formal submission and formal acceptance. Formal acceptance means one becomes part of Krishna's family, and thus the name, Krishna Das or Vishnu Das. The acceptance is by Krishna. I'll say it again. The acceptance is by Krishna. There's through the current link, but the acceptance is by Krishna, and the submission is unto Krishna through the current link and through the disciplic succession. But one should understand, one must understand, the acceptance is being done on behalf of Krishna, but Krishna is the one that's accepting. So that means if you're part of Krishna's family, then you have some responsibility to conduct your speech and your activities in a way that's representative of Krishna's family, just like anyone else. Your behaviors reflect the family that you're from, reflect upon the family that you're from, your speech and your conduct, etc. And then all the more on the spiritual family, reflecting the our founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, and the whole disciplic succession. So it's a privilege, and it's also a great responsibility. So I'm stating it because it's so, and how you speak, how you conduct yourself in the devotee community and outside the devotee community, in the workplace and in the marketplace and wherever you go, you're representing disciplic succession, and it's to be remembered. It's a privilege, and it's also a great responsibility. Okay. So, with the initiation comes vows, and I think what we'll do next is ask you to take your vows for initiation. And why don't you two go first, Akshay and your good wife? Come pay your obeisances before Prabhupada. And I think I'll call upon Bayahari to say something about this nice devotee couple. Mm-hmm.
Hare Krishna. So it's a really happy day for me. We met Akshay Prabhu and Priyanka 2013, so it's about 8 years now. And I remember the first time when they came, they shared that they had been married for just 6 months at the time. So I was a little skeptical if they'll continue to come, because at that point of time, attending spiritual discussions is not at the forefront of people's mind. But pleasantly surprised, all of us came very, very consistently. Both Akshay and Priyanka have a very natural inclination to devotional service. Akshay learned so many bhajans, kirtans, learned how to play mridanga. Priyanka, such a wonderful cook, and serving in so many ways. Akshay and Priyanka, they both have done their Guru Disciple course. Akshay has done his Bhakti Shastri. They both gave regular classes on Bhagavatam and participate in the reading of Chaitanya Bhagavat. So one thing that I noticed about both of them was that they've gone through so many life changes. They've had, they have now two children. Last year, unfortunately, they lost their father. Other responsibilities came on. job change, etc., etc. So in his relatively young life, he has seen a lot of challenges, but they have used each of this challenge as an opportunity to deepen their faith and increase the connection with the holy name, with the reading of the scriptures. So, I wish you the best in your journey. Hare Krishna.
Indulekha, you'll say something about the other couple, yes? Or you want to say something now? Next. Whatever I want. Let's do it that way, for time purposes. Until what time does the curtain close? Oh. Okay, good. No. Next. Okay. Here's your beads. And before the deities and before Prabhupada and the Vaishnavas, you're going to take some vows to be upheld for the rest of your life. So it's a very serious set of vows. How many rounds you chant every day on your beads? Just in case we can't hear him.
16 rounds, Guru Maharaj.
Minimum, right?
Minimum.
More is fine. I just got a letter from one devotee in China, recently initiated, even, virtually, because we can't go to China now. And they're very serious about chanting, and they're every day chanting 25 rounds. I didn't ask, but they're maintaining their 16 minimum. And it's very encouraging to see that kind of dedication. So, the 4 rules that you'll follow.
No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, and no gambling.
Very good. And you'll continue, as you have been doing, carefully following Prabhupada's teachings.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Very good. Initiated name. Hari Govinda Das.
Hari Bol! Hari Govinda Prabhu ki!
No need for an explanation of that name. Anadir Adir Govinda. Sarvakarana Karanam. Okay. You want to say something about Priyank? She may need the microphone. I didn't get it straight. Okay.
Priyanka is by nature a very social and fun-loving person. So when she first we met her, she was extremely skeptical, very hesitant about this whole process. She wasn't sure she can do it. She had tons of questions, had so many fears of losing her old friends because they'll probably judge them for what they're doing. This age is meant for enjoyment, etc., etc. And so, but then the Association of Devotees and Prasadam and their sincere inquiries helped her come out of that zone. And of course, your mercy and love that you showered on their children, that moved their hearts. And they are now very sincere and enthusiastic, and they have done many services with us for the temple, served Vaishnavas and served devotees, and they're very dedicated to Prabhupada's movement. That we are very sure. So by your blessings, Guru Maharaj, we are very sure that they'll do well in their spiritual lives. Thank you.
I'm confident too. Okay, your vows. You chant how many rounds on your beads every day, minimum? I can hear her.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. 16 rounds minimum.
Very good. The 4 rules that you follow?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
And like your good husband, you'll continue to carefully follow Prabhupada's teachings.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Very good. Initiated name. Padmini Radha.
पद्मिनी राधा देवीदासी माता जी की
Radha, who's seated on a lotus. The lotus of, by Krishna's side, of course. Okay. Please come forward and offer your obeisances before Prabhupada. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So Rajneesh and Shivani, we met them in 2011. So they've been a part of our Bhakti Vriksha for the last 10 years.
Phew.
And the interesting thing is that when we met Rajni and Shivani, which we do generally, and most of the people ignore our instruction, we say it's good to chant, and they started chanting. We just told them once, and then they started chanting. So I've never given up chanting since then. I think for the last, I believe, 3 years, chanting 16 rounds consistently. Both Rajneesh and Shivani have completed the Bhakti Shastri, the disciple course. Very shastrically inclined, both of them. They give wonderful classes on Bhagavatam and participate in the discussions on Chaitanya Bhagavat and other scriptures. So they have 3 wonderful sons, and bringing up, we brought up 1 son, so we know it's a handful. They have 3 sons to take care of, and excellent maturity in balancing the needs of the family, the spiritual needs. All the 3 sons are coming up wonderfully in a Krishna conscious environment, and at least with Rajneesh, I know that if you give him a service, it's the give and forget kind. You give it to him, and he'll make sure that it's done. Very mature in his approach to making commitments, following up, interacting with others. So very happy to see that at this day. I think about 5 years ago, I said I hope to see you initiated in a year and a half. So there I think he has taken his time, but surely and steadily. So I'm very happy.
Okay, let's do this, and then you can speak for her. Okay. Your vows. Here's it. He wants you to take the microphone. He wants it to be recorded.
Sure, Guru
Played
Maharaj.
back or something.
Sure, Guru Maharaj.
I don't know what.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Dandvat Pranam.
You don't. Let me just have you take your vows.
Okay.
How many rounds you chant daily?
Minimum 16 rounds on my
Okay.
beads.
And the 4 rules you follow.
No intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Okay. Good. One time, one devotee had a lapse, and Prabhupada went, "Aha, that's the one you're attracted to." And everybody laughed. And you'll continue to follow Prabhupada's teachings the rest of your life. Your initiated name is, give him the microphone, Rupa Raghunath Das.
Rupa Raghunath Das Prabhu ki.
It fits in the mood of the Manashiksha seminar. Rupa Raghunath. And in the closing verse of every chapter of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishnadas Kaviraj offers his obeisances to Rupa Raghunath Das. Okay. Shivani.
Yeah, about Shivani, I can say with so much surety that she is such a wonderful, amazingly patient lady. Of course, and it could be attributed to the 3 sons that she has. She's a wonderful mother, and most endearing quality that I have seen of Shivani is, like Guru Maharaj use the word saralata, the simplicity of heart. So that's has really moved me, has inspired me personally of how simple she is in her heart, very straightforward, honest, and she's helped me with many services. Of course, so has Priyanka also, with deities, bead making, jewelry making, and whether it was Sunday feast or any time I knew I could bank on these 2 girls. And they're very committed to Prabhupada, like my husband spoke, and we are sure again that she will never disappoint you, Guru Maharaj. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, your vows before the deities. How many rounds you'll chant every day? Very good. And the 4 rules that you'll follow?
No meat eating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex.
Good. And you'll, like your good husband, continue to follow Prabhupada's teachings.
Yes, Guru Maharaj.
Very good. Initiated name. Shri Padma Manjari Devi Dasi.
हरि बोल पद्म मंजरी देवी दासी माता की जय.
Shri Padma Manjari.
श्री पद्म मंजरी देवी दासी माता की जय.
She is a close associate of Srimati Radharani, one of her intimate manjaris. Okay, so now we're ready to, whatever, you take it away. I don't need to do that.
Okay. So you don't want to do?
No, I don't want to do. They can do.
ओम श्री गुरुभ्य नमः. ओम श्री परम गुरुभ्य नमः. ओम श्री परत्पर गुरुभ्य नमः. ओम शस्ते न गोविंद शस्ते नो अच्युतानंत शस्ते न वासुदेवः विष्णुर्दधातु शस्ते नो पद्मनाभा पुरुषोत्तम शस्ते नो वंजनाश्रुतो नो भगवता दधातु. ओम शस्ति शस्ति सुमंगलये केशो महन् सच्चिदानन्दघनः सर्वेश्वरेश्वरो दधातु. ओम करोतु शस्ति मे कृष्ण सर्वलोकसुरेश्वरः कृष्णोदयश्च कुर्वन्त शस्ति मे लोकपावनः. ओम जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवशादि गौर भक्त वृंद. ओम श्री वरुणः ओम इहा गच्छ इहा तिष्ठ इहा सन्निधे इहा सन्निरुधस्य इहा सन्मुखा भव इहा सन्मुखो भव मम रचना गृहानः. ओम इदम आसनम ओम श्री वरुणाय श्री विष्णवे नमो नमः. ओम श्री विचक्षणाय ओम श्री विचक्षणाय यहा गच्छ यहा तिष्ठ यहा सन्निधे यहा सन्निरुधस्य यहा सन्मुखो भव मम रचन गृहानः. ओम श्री विचक्षणाय ओम इदमासनं समर्पयामि. ओम श्री विचक्षणाय ओम श्री वरुणाय मनसः षोडशः उपचारः उपकल्पितं सर्वं समर्पयामि। ॐ शिवशक्षणाय ॐ श्रीविचक्षणाय ॐ शिवरुणाय ईशा धूपदर्शयामि। ॐ वनस्पतिरसत्प्लावगन्धाढ्यगन्धोत्तमम् अग्रेयानः सर्वदेवानां धूपयमृतेर्जतं गन्धोद्वारा दुरादर्शं नित्यपुष्टिं करिष्यिनिम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तय्यपहवरे श्रियम् अनेन गन्धेन समर्पयामि। श्रीवरुणाय विचक्षणाय नमः। ॐ एषः घृतप्रतिभं दर्शयामि शिवरुणाय विचक्षणाय नमः। ॐ शप्रकाशं महातेज सर्वत्रं स्थिमिरापः सर्वयभ्यन्तरं दीपं यतिर्दीपं प्रतिगृह्यतं श्रीवरुणाय विचक्षणाय नमः। ॐ तद्विष्णो परमं पदागं च तपस्वन्ति शूरयः दिवीव चक्षुरा ततम्। ॐ इदं मानसः नानाविधो रसो युक्तफलादिद्रव्यं नैवेद्यं सकलः समर्पयामि। ॐ शिवरुणाय विचक्षणाय नमः। हरिः ॐ। अग्निस्थापनः। So you have the Hovan Samagri. Inside, we have a fire alarm. We don't want that fire alarm will run. So those will give very tiny bit. We're using smoke-free Hovan. Smoke-free technology. Only those will create some smoke. So that's why please use very tiny bit. And you know how to use that, okay? Very tiny bit. And when you will offer to fire, you're going to say swaha. All right? Why we say swaha when we do the homam in fire? Why? Offering? He remember. He just here recently. So say loudly so that everyone can hear. Huh? How come? Yes, Swaha is a wife of Agnidev, and over here, Agnidev's house, the lords, Vishnu will appear, or Lord Krishna, they all will come as a guest. Swahadevi will actually doing hospitalities. So when you're offering, the priest saying, Idam Krishnaya, Idam Namamaha, oh Swahadevi, please take this to Lord Krishna. Or Idam Agnaye, Idam Namamaha, give this to Agnidev. Or Idam Varunaya, Idam Nama, as your commands, she will serve. So Swaha is wife of Agnidev. ॐ श्री वैष्णवः नमाग्ने यहा गच्छ यहा तिष्ठ या सन्निधेहि या सन्निरुद्धस्य या सन्मुखो भवः मम अर्चनगृहानः। ॐ श्री वैष्णवः नमाग्ने इदमासनं समर्पयामि। ॐ ॐ वैष्णवः नमग्ने एषः धूपं दर्शयामि ॐ गन्धोद्वरदुरादश्चं नित्यपुष्टिं करिष्यनिम्. You can just keep open that door. Outside there is one bricks, so you can just keep open both door. ॐ गन्धोद्वरदुरादश्चं नित्यपुष्टिं करिष्यनिम् ईश्वरीं सर्वभूतानां तयः पहवरे श्रियम् अनेन गन्धेन समर्पयामि. श्रीवैष्णवः नमग्ने नमो नमः. ॐ ईशः कर्पूरदीपं दर्शयामि श्रीवैष्णवः नमग्ने नमो नमः. ॐ तद्विष्णु परमं पदागं शतपुष्पन्ति शूरयः दिवेव चक्षुरा ततं तद्विप्रासः विपर्णावयग्रीवं शशमिन्दते विष्णुर्यत्परमं पदम्. ॐ एदं मानसः शौरशः उपचारः उपकल्पितं शरभं समार्पयामि. घृतशुद्धि. Okay, so now we will do the Mangala Charan Homa. So we will chant, you just chant after me. Okay? We will go slowly. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshururmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Swaha Swaha Swaha. Edam Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadatisha Padantikam Swaha Swaha Swaha. 3 times, huh? Every 3 times you look at it. Yeah. Edam Vyashacharyaya idam namamaham Bandeyaham Shri Guru Shri Jutam Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavangscha Shri Rupam Shagrajatam Shahganam Raghunatham Nitam Tam Shajivam Shadvaitam Shabdhutam Parijanam Shahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Shahagana Lalita Sri Vishakha Nitangscha Swaha.